Okay, so ready to deep dive into this paper. It's called A Survey on LLM-as-a-Judge.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like a sci-fi movie title, right?
Yeah, it does a little bit.
But this is real-world stuff we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, this is happening now.
Using AI to make judgments, like instead of humans.
What's really interesting is that we're kind of moving past just seeing these models as tools for, making text or code.
Right.
We're really looking into their potential to, evaluate and make decisions, to basically be judges in all kinds of different fields.
So when the paper says LLMs are judging,
Yeah.
what does that even mean? Give me some examples I can wrap my head around.
Okay, so imagine an LLM grading essays.
Okay.
Not just giving a score,
Right.
but actual in-depth feedback.
Oh, wow.
About the arguments or the structure or how they use language.
Okay.
Or you could picture it evaluating code.
Okay.
Not just checking if it works or not,
Yeah.
but how efficient it is or how elegant it is or even how creative the code is.
So these AI judges could be making decisions that affect our lives.
Yeah.
Like what if a company uses an LLM to screen job applicants?
Exactly. We're already seeing LLMs being used for stuff like credit scoring.
Oh, wow.
Where an algorithm could decide if you get a loan or not.
Wow.
And in law, they're using LLMs to figure out if legal arguments are valid. Even helping to make benchmarks for judging how good other LLMs are at legal reasoning.
Whoa, hold on. AI judging other AI.
It is.
That's getting kind of meta.
Yeah, and that brings us to this important thing called meta-evaluation.
Meta-evaluation.
Yeah, so it's if you have a student teacher, right, you'd want an experienced teacher to check how well they're doing.
Right, makes sense.
It's the same with these LLM judges.
Gotcha.
We need to test them, too.
Right.
To make sure they're reliable and making good judgments.
So quality control for the AI judges.
Mm-hmm.
But how do they judge in the first place?
Yeah, good question.
Do they just give a number or a thumbs up or down?
It's actually more complicated than that. One way is by scoring.
Okay.
So the LLM gives a number based on some rules. But imagine this.
Yeah.
An LLM is looking at a loan application. It's not just about your credit score.
Right.
It's looking at tons of financial data, comparing it to patterns of who usually pays back loans, and even things like what's happening in the economy right now.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's making judgments based on a ton of information.
So it's not just replacing human judgment with a simple algorithm. It's using AI to see patterns we might miss.
Exactly.
Because it can process so much information.
Right, and then there's this other way they do it called pairwise comparisons.
Pairwise comparison.
Yeah, so let's say you're making a new medical imaging technique.
Okay.
An LLM could get two sets of images.
Okay.
One from the old way and one from the new way.
Right.
And it has to decide which one gives a better diagnosis.
So an AI consultant helping doctors make better decisions.
Exactly.
This is starting to feel less like sci-fi and more like the future of everything.
Yeah.
But I bet teaching AI to judge, that's not easy.
It's definitely not a simple task.
Right.
One of the big things is prompt design.
Prompt design.
Yeah. It's not enough to just tell the LLM, judge this.
Right.
You got to be specific.
Okay.
We have to carefully design the prompts.
Okay.
To guide how the model thinks about the problem.
So giving the AI judge instructions like a legal brief.
Exactly. And then there's model training.
Model training.
Yeah, we have to train these LLMs on huge data sets that are specific to the things we want them to judge.
Okay. So for code quality.
Yeah, exactly.
We feed it millions of lines of code.
Right.
All labeled with how good they are.
Exactly. You got to give the AI judge experience.
It's years of experience in hours.
Yeah, that's the idea.
But how do we even know if these AI judges are any good?
Right. So that's where this idea of subsuming particulars under universals comes in.
Okay, now you're just using big words.
I know it sounds complicated, but it's important.
Okay.
Basically, to judge, well, an LLM needs to understand the rules and concepts of whatever it's looking at.
Okay. I'm still kind of lost.
Okay, remember that Olympiad example?
Yeah.
Let's say it's the math one.
Okay.
The LLM needs to deeply understand math.
Okay.
The big picture rules of math.
Right.
Those are the universals.
Yeah.
To judge if a student's answer is right.
Right.
Those are the particulars.
Okay.
So it's the LLM has this mental model of how math works, and it's using that to judge each answer.
Right. Not just matching patterns. It's actually applying knowledge.
Exactly. It has to fit the specific example under the general rule.
I see.
And that level of understanding is key for judging well.
This is wild. We're teaching AI to think like experts.
It is pretty amazing.
But if it can judge something as complex as an Olympiad solution, what can't these AI judges do yet?
That is a great question.
Right.
And it leads us to some really interesting and hard research areas.
Okay, lay it on me.
One of the toughest things is dealing with multimodal content.
Multimodal.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Think about how you judge a movie.
Okay.
You're looking at the visuals, listening to the dialogue, the music, even how it's edited.
It all works together.
Exactly. It's different modalities working together.
Okay.
LLMs are great at handling language, images, even sounds on their own.
Okay.
But putting all of that together into one judgment, that's a whole other challenge.
So like we're asking the AI to not just see and hear, but to really experience a movie.
Yeah, to get the full impact.
That's a lot.
It is.
But as LLMs get better, who knows what they'll be able to do.
Right.
This brings up another question, though.
What's that?
If AI can judge things, how do we make sure it's judging fairly? How do we trust their decisions?
That is the million-dollar question.
Right.
And that takes us to the whole world of ethics. And that's where it gets interesting, because it's not just about like removing bad bias.
Right.
It's about potentially making systems that are more fair than what we have now.
Well, okay, hold on. So we're not just talking about AI that's as good as human judges.
Yeah.
We're talking about AI that could actually be better.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Wow.
Think about it. Human judges get tired. They have biases. All sorts of things can affect their decisions.
Right. They're human.
Exactly. But an AI could be immune to that stuff.
Okay.
It could look at every case the same way, using the same rules every time.
That sounds amazing.
It does, right.
But let's be real. Even if we can get rid of human biases, are there other problems? Like the real world isn't always simple.
Oh, you're hitting on a big one.
Yeah.
How do you teach an AI context and common sense?
Right, because humans, even when we disagree, we kind of get where each other are coming from.
Exactly. We have a shared understanding of the world.
Right.
AI doesn't quite have that yet.
So even if an AI follows the rules perfectly, it might miss stuff that humans just get.
Yeah, the nuances, the things that aren't said out loud.
Exactly.
And that brings us back to humans needing to be involved, right? Even as AI gets better, we'll probably always need human judgment.
Especially for the tough cases.
Right. The ones that aren't clear-cut.
It's like we need to find that balance
Yeah.
between what AI is good at and what humans are good at.
That's a great way to put it. It's not about one replacing the other.
Right.
It's about figuring out how they work best together.
Okay, let's switch gears a little.
Sure.
We've been talking about big stuff like loans and legal cases.
Yeah.
But is there AI judging in, like, everyday things?
Definitely think about online content moderation.
Okay.
Places like social media are already using AI to flag bad stuff.
Right.
But imagine an LLM that not only finds the bad stuff,
Yeah.
but also understands why it's bad, like what the person meant.
Oh, wow.
It could help make online spaces safer and more inclusive.
So instead of just taking down posts based on keywords,
Right.
an AI could actually understand what people are trying to say.
Exactly. It could make online communities way better.
And what about creative stuff?
Oh, that's a good one.
Could LLMs judge, like, design competitions or writing contests?
Yeah, potentially even music performances.
Wait, hold on. An AI judging a song?
It's a new idea.
How would that even work?
It's early days, but imagine an LLM trained on tons of music. It could analyze the melody, the harmony, the rhythm, even the emotion of the song.
It's like an AI music critic.
Yeah, able to break down the music and say if it's good or not.
Okay, now I'm seeing the potential of this in all sorts of areas.
It is pretty amazing.
But this brings up another question.
Yeah, what's that?
What about jobs? Will this put people out of work?
That's a valid concern.
Right, if AI can judge better and faster,
Yeah.
what happens to all the human judges?
It's something we need to think about for sure.
Right.
But remember, throughout history, new technology has usually led to new jobs.
That's true.
The key is to adapt.
So instead of being scared of AI, we should see it as a chance to learn new skills.
Think of it like this. If AI can do the boring parts of judging, human experts can focus on the harder, more interesting stuff.
The stuff that needs creativity and critical thinking.
Exactly. It's not about replacing humans, it's about helping them.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
Good.
And it makes sense. We've seen how new tech leads to more innovation.
Yeah.
The challenge is making sure everyone benefits.
Absolutely. And that means planning investing in education
Right.
and being open to new ways of working.
So as AI judges become more common,
Yeah,
it's not just about the tech itself. It's about how we adapt to it.
exactly. It's about seeing both the good and the bad
Yeah.
and finding ways to use AI for good.
While still keeping the things that are important to us as humans.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Okay, we've covered a lot here.
We have.
From how LLMs judge to the ethics to the good stuff and the challenges.
It's a lot to take in.
But let's zoom out for a second.
Okay.
What does this whole LLMs-a-Judge thing tell us about humans and AI?
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
I think it shows we're starting to see AI differently.
How so?
It's not just a tool for doing things faster.
Right.
It could be a partner in solving problems and making decisions.
So it's not us versus them, it's us and them.
Exactly. And I think that's where the real potential is.
Using the best of both worlds.
Exactly. AI and humans working together.
This has been amazing. I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too.
But I also have so many more questions.
That's how it always is, right? The more you learn, the more you realize you don't know.
Exactly, but that's what makes this so exciting.
It is. It's a whole new field.
And we're just getting started.
We are. So for everyone listening out there, here's something to think about. So for everyone listening out there, here's something to think about.
Yeah.
As we're building these super powerful AI judges.
Right.
How do we make sure they're not just efficient,
Okay.
but also wise? You know, how do we make sure they make judgments that are technically right,
Right.
but also ethically sound?
That's the big question, isn't it? We can teach AI to follow rules and crunch data,
Yeah.
but how do we teach it about human values?
Right, like the things behind the rules.
Yeah, how do we get these AI judges to understand fairness and justice and compassion?
It's almost like we're getting into philosophy now.
It does feel that way.
It's not just about code anymore.
Yeah.
It's about what it means to be human.
Yeah, to make judgments that are not just logical, but also humane.
Exactly. You said it perfectly. And that's why this whole conversation is so important.
It is.
It's not just about how cool the AI is. It's
Yeah.
about what it means for us as a society.
Okay, I'm getting a little deep here.
It's a big topic.
Let's bring it back down to earth for a sec.
Okay.
We've talked about the risks and challenges,
Yeah.
but what about the good stuff?
Yeah.
What could a world with AI judges look like if we do this right?
Okay. So imagine a legal system that's actually fair for everyone,
Okay.
where it doesn't matter how much money you have,
Right.
everyone gets equal access to justice.
Wow.
Or imagine healthcare, where AI helps doctors diagnose things faster and more accurately,
Yeah.
potentially saving so many lives.
That would be incredible.
And what about education? Imagine AI tutors that can personalize learning for every single student,
Oh, wow.
helping them reach their full potential.
Those are some pretty amazing possibilities.
We are right.
It sounds like AI could make our lives easier and make the world a better place.
That's what we're hoping for, but it's not going to happen on its own.
Right.
We have to be careful about how we develop and use these technologies. We have to talk openly and honestly about what values we want them to have.
I see.
And we have to really think about what role we want AI to play in our lives.
So it's not just about the tech itself, it's about the choices we make.
That's it, exactly. And those choices aren't just for the tech people or the politicians.
Right.
They're choices that all of us need to be a part of making.
This has been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
I feel like we've explored a whole new world,
We have.
and it's left me feeling both excited and a little bit cautious.
I think that's a good place to be. The future of AI isn't set in stone. It's something we're all creating together.
So for everyone listening out there, here's one last thought.
Yeah, go for it.
As we enter this new world of AI-powered judgment, let's not just ask what AI can do. Let's ask what we want it to do.
I like that.
And let's make sure those answers reflect the best of us, our values, and our hopes for a better future.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive